Good evening, folks, and welcome back to APPF1 Tier 1 for tonight's dose of racing action. If you're watching after the fact, then please do feel free to skip ahead to qualifying as we get the rest of the lobby all set up and all the drivers ready to go. We shouldn't be too much further away from racing for round number 7 of this fantastic Tier 1 championship.
In European summer now, so make sure you're packing shade and sunscreen. It's likely to get hot out there this weekend. Temperatures can reach well over 30 degrees outside, so just imagine how sweltering it must be in those cockpits. As the circuit is short, unforgiving and packed with slow corners, it's gained the reputation of being Monaco without the barriers. In its defense, it has an average speed of 200 kilometers an hour compared to Monaco's pedestrian, 160.
Good evening, folks, and welcome back to APPF1 Tier 1 for tonight's dose of racing action. My name is Sumo, and I shall be your commentator, bringing you all of the on-track action this evening, the only way that I know how, with as much enthusiasm and excitement as I could possibly muster on this rainy evening here in the UK. But it's not raining here at the Hungary, which is where we find ourselves for round number 7, as we follow along with Rick. So we're back in Europe then for the Hungary, and it is 4.381 kilometers of racetrack with 14 corners, which make up one of the most technical open tracks on the calendar. But the only real overtaking opportunity comes from the DRS straight all the way down to turn number 1. However, our drivers in Tier 1 will of course prove me wrong, as they so often do. Now then, let's take a look at the drivers' standings. Let's get these up as we go along. Let's run you through it as we start winding up into qualifying. It's Lifeboat then leading the way on 118 points, just 9 points ahead of his rival Finley in P2. Then there's Ghost on 77 points, as best of the rest right now, with MX just 10 points behind him in the McLaren. Then ET8 Chris in the Red Bull, having a little bit of a wobbler at the moment, but may he come back, 63 points to his name in P5. Then there's Scorenzi, 3 points behind in the Aston Martin, 57 points for Red Flame Joe, just a further 3 points behind with Rick on 51. Then there's Lawrence on 37 points, unable to make the proceedings this evening, and safe are the drivers out there on the track from being rear-ended by him. Then Jackalacko in the top 10 to round it off. Then there's MCL the reserve, Yaram in the Williams, then there's RTG Chuck, or Paul Chuckle as I call him, with Speed Alcoholic in the Alpha Tauri. Then there's Jordan Lancer and Mania, 2 more reserve drivers with RTG Chuckle, or Barry Chuckle as I will be calling him, in 17th. Then there's RJ Blair in 18th. Then there's Nice Job and Lupper, the other 2 reserves for tier number 1. And then the Constructors' Championship looks like this. It's 181 points for the Red Bull outfit, with 176 points for McLaren, just 5 points behind their championship rivals. Then there's 47 points back to Alfa Romeo from the leading team. On 134 points, best of the rest so far, with Ferrari on 86, 71 for Aston Martin, Alpha Tauri on 67. And then there's Alpine on 34, 2 points behind of the Haas team, with 27 points for Williams in P9, and Mercedes on 22. But anyway, let us get into this qualifying session then. Sorry to mute you all for a few moments. Rick and Jackalacko setting the pace. Very close lap times between the two of them. Both are 16.2. Red Flame Joe is about 5-6 tenths of a second back. But Speed Alcoholic comes in with a 15.6 in the Alpha Tauri. That's a decent lap from him. Then goes to 15.7 in his Alfa Romeo. Not bad at all. Let's see who is coming around the line next. It is Barry Chuckle. That's with a 15.8. Not a bad lap from him. Then it looks like Lucas. No, Lifebout, our championship leader, on to provisional pole position with a 15.3. Not a bad lap from the championship leader. That is a great effort from him. Let us see who else is out there making waves on this circuit here in Hungary. Let's see, Lucas is about to start a lap. There's a Mercedes perhaps coming through. Yes, here's MCL, the Spaniard, making his way around the final corner. Scorenzi joins us finally as well for the proceedings. Very nice as MCL goes with a 16.4. Not a bad lap. ET8 Chris joins his teammate on the front row with a 15.4. Not a bad lap for him. Let's see, what has MX got in the tank? Not much yet. How about Finley, his teammate, championship contender? Of course, he's been on pole often, and it's a 14.9. That is a fantastic lap from Finley. He'll be happy with that one in the cockpit of his McLaren. That is the benchmark thrown down by the championship contender. That is a statement of intent, if ever I have seen one. Let's see who else is out there on the circuit right now. Lewis is in the pits. Let's see, I think the other Red Bull is coming on an in-lap. So here's MX then, the German. He's got to do a little bit more, I think, to try and help his teammate out in this Constructors' battle. He's got to get up there in that top 5 and maybe even fighting in that top 4. It needs to be both McLarens fighting both Red Bulls rather than MX getting bogged down. Let's see, a 15.5 right where he needs to be on that second row, knocking speed down. Only by about a tenth of a second, mind. So he's still not safe completely. But next, Sweet Ross, it looks like he's going to set us off on a lap. So we're going to ride on board. He's got a very nice helmet design as well. He's rocking some of those APPF1 colours there, the blue and the yellow. That's very nice. I think we're normally red and yellow, or red and gold, but we have been blue and yellow in the past as well. Anyway, all the way down the start finish, straight down towards turn 1. They'll have a bit of traffic on the exit of the pit lane there, but getting out of the way right away, nice and tucked in on the apex of the corner. Got to really focus on the exit, carry the speed through, and then there's one more short burst of DRS down through and in towards turn number 3. Got to really keep it tight and carry the speed, and then committed through turn 4 as you go down the hill, then straight back up. That's actually turn 3. This is turn 4 of the Hungaroring, slinging it through the left and then on to the right. A little bit too wide from the Alpine there, not going to help him out. Now into the chicane, braking at just before the 50 metre board, and then using those curbs and carrying the speed, not getting too heavy on them. Then through the next couple of corners we go, just carry the speed, get a decent line through this twisty part of the circuit. Then almost flat through here, a little bit of a lift and a brake actually from Sui. Ross could probably go quicker Then a few more corners now to navigate. Sector 3, just 3 corners in it. And here's one of them, the left-hander right through here, and then one more corner to navigate. Very similar to the last corner of the Nürburgring where I was commentating last night. But let's see, can Sweeross navigate it well in that Alpine and put himself in that top 10? Not quite. It's a 16.5. He's not far off, but he'll want to try and improve over the rest of the session. How about Robert in the Williams? Coming around, 19 drivers on the grid. This is fantastic, folks. I love an almost full grid. If we could get one more driver, then that would be phenomenal. Let's see. P3 for Robert. And to think we were worried about Tier 1 at the start of this APPF1 season. And look where we are now with these amazing grid sizes we have. Who's gone round? It's Jack Alacco, the Scotsman. He's gone to start a lap by the looks of things and has gone round. Sweeross is retired. Is that on track? Has he crashed? Yes, he has. At turn 4. Who can I catch? Quick. Let's see. Where has he dropped it completely? Not quite. I think he must have given it too much through turn 4. And then just smashed into the wall. Not the way he would have wanted his qualifying session to go in the slightest. See RJ Blair out there at the moment. As I had a couple strong races over in Tier 2. Out there on the Aston Martin. Wishing him well. Out there as well. He's a fantastic driver on his day. Gets a lot of bad luck though, does RJ, and I hope that can be ended very soon. I hope my bad luck ends soon as well. If RJ's bad luck starts ending, I'll need him to start sending me whatever he's having for breakfast. Red Flame Joe improves his lap time to 16.216, just ahead of the Dutchman Rick. Robert invalidates his time, but he's on an in-lap anyway, so this lap isn't of particular importance. Let's see who else is out. MCL's on an out lap. How about Rick? No, Jacko. I think he's on an out lap as well. Not using any ERS. Trying to find somebody on a lap for you here. Ghost is on another out lap. I think they're doing multiple out laps by the looks of it. The drivers out there today. It isn't a particularly long track, the Hungaroring, so there's definitely cause for it. It looks like Jack Alacco then. No, Rick is going to be the next driver to put in a lap. Let's see, is he on one? Yes, that ERS is depleting. Let's see what he does as he comes up to the Sector 2 line, as it's a 10th up on his previous best. That will see him just ahead of Red Flame Joe, just into the top 10 by the slimmest of margins. But let's see if he's got anything else in these final couple of corners. Getting that Ferrari round quite nicely. Let's see what he can do. Car number 8 coming round the last corner now. Short run to the line. Let's see what he can do. A 3/10 improvement sees him into P10. Just 3/100ths of a second behind Barry Chuckle there in the Haas. Let's see, MCL. No, we're looking at Jordan Lancer, who's actually peeled into the pit lane. Let's see. Oh, MCL's just set the fastest middle sector of anyone out there. Finley's out on the circuit too. Speed Alcoholic, let's see, he's on an out lap, so never mind. Jordan Lancer, no. Let's follow MCL then. He's looking quick. He's 3/10 up on his previous. This could see him into the 1:15s, in amongst that lower regions of the top 10. Let's see, not quite. He's lost a lot of time there. Doesn't improve his position at all, in fact. Only manages to improve his lap time by a small amount. Well, about a 10th, actually. But doesn't manage to get any major improvement. What about Ghost, who just shoots up to P3, a 15.3. They're closing in on Finley's time, but it's not quite close enough as Barry Chuckle puts it into P4 for Haas. Let's see who else is out there on the circuit right now. Scorenzi's on an out lap. This will be his first lap of the evening. Let's see, Jack Alacco's back out on track. Rick into the pit lane. How about Lifebout? Championship leader. He is out on track, but not on a lap. ET8 Chris has no front ring. He's got some damage on that Red Bull. MX has just gone fastest in Sector 1. Finley is 2/10 up, however, on his previous best. It's a 14.9. Coming round the final corner now. He's going to set that benchmark even further. Throw down another gauntlet for these drivers to chase. A 14.6 from Finley, looking absolutely rapid out there. Speed Alcoholic, what's he got underneath him in that Alpha Tauri? Only good enough for P8 as he goes 2/100ths of a second faster than Jordan Lancer. How about MX now? Only 8/100ths of a second up on his previous attempt. Let's see where that's going to place him. Round the final corner he comes. Let's see. MX crosses the line. He's a 10th improved. Up into P4. Back where he needs to be. And it's ETA Chris who's under pressure now in this constructors fight, as he's not quite where he wants to be. And Ghost is getting himself involved as well. Scorenzi invalid. What about RJ? What's he got underneath him? A poor lap is what the American has. And he'll go around again and try and do that once more. Robert in the Williams. Let's see what he's got. Has he got any improvement underneath him? Can he pull an Alex Albon and pull a blinder out and get up there? He can improve to P5 just ahead of Barry Chuckle in the Haas. Not a bad lap. It's looking fairly close for that P2 position there. Only a couple of attempts in it as Robert has a little bit of a half spin and just about avoids that barrier. Let's see who else is out there on the circuit. There's Speed, but he's on an in-lap. I think Jacko is the next driver to set a lap time. Let's ride on board with him as he comes down the hill. Only a 100th of a second up on his previous. This is not the best looking lap, but is Sector 3 where all of that extra time hides. Is that where he's going to find the improvement that he needs? 7 people watching as Jacko comes into the pit lane to bring me to an anticlimax. Come and say hello. Comments, questions, queries, whatever you want to say in the live chat, as long as it's not rude. Of course, we don't tolerate that here. But come say hello, come be my co-commentators as I'm commentating out here at the Hungaroring on my own. I'm not actually at the Hungaroring. It would be quite nice if I was, though, wouldn't it? But either way, looks like we're ramping things down now, getting ourselves ready for this final run of qualifying. RJ into the pits as well. Who is out there on the circuit? It's Yarum. One of the faster guys in the F2 Cup that we do tend to run every now and again. I don't think we'll be doing an F2 Cup between this season and next. 9 people watching now. Hello to the 9 people. Make yourselves known. Come say hello. Do appreciate the company, but more importantly, Finley has retired from the session. He's done. He reckons nobody's going to touch him with that 14.6, and I'm inclined to agree, you know. Unless Lifebout can pull something phenomenal out of the bag, out of nowhere, it looks like Finley has got this pole position down. Hello, Speed. I'm good, thank you. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you back out on track again, mate. It's been a little while. Hopefully they don't shut your power off mid-race. That would suck. But anyway, we're watching Yarum come around the final few corners in the Williams. Only car on a lap right now. Let's see what he's got underneath him. Can he get himself into that top 10? We'll see in the Williams. Comes across the line just into the top 10 with a 15.69. Doing great. Looking forward to it. I hope you enjoyed the race tonight. But we've got 19 drivers on the grid. It's going to be fantastic, I can assure you. APPF1 Tier 1, Tier 2 and Elite always produce fantastic racing. And you know why? Because we have some of the best drivers out there racing with us, and it's fantastic to see them every single week. And I do enjoy my stints where I get to come and commentate for you guys at Tier 1, because I do miss it. Now that I'm a racing driver again in Tier 2, I do miss my weekly dosage of F1 commentary. But either way, only 5 people watching now. I'd imagine most of those people who've just disappeared were drivers. It wouldn't shock me in the slightest. Here's Lifebout then, gearing up for his final run of this session. He's got the target right there in front of him. He's got to find 8/10 of a second. Ahead of him, Ghost has just gone, so he'll be the first to complete a lap, I believe, of these runners out here. Or is Ghost doing a lap? No, he is not. You can tell, you can see that yellow bar there. It's not depleting. However, Lifebout, championship leader, the driver just behind him out on track as Yaron retires from the session in the pit lane. Lifebout is giving it a go. He's going to try and find the time out there on the track. Let's ride on board with the qualifying merchant himself, and let's just see how the magic happens behind the wheel of this Red Bull through turn number 4 now, nice and committed through there. Well, up to turn 4 right now. That was turn 3, and then let's see how committed he is. 2/10 up already, so he's into the 1 minute 14s or so thereabouts. Let's see, hopefully this Ferrari peels out the way. It does. Coming through the chicane now for Lifeboat. That looked very committed, very planted for the Dutchman. Let's continue as he comes through Sector 2. A little bit of traffic in his way perhaps, but it looks like it's just Ghost on his second out lap. Let's see, the next driver behind him will be a Mercedes. We'll follow along with that particular driver when we get the chance. Down to third gear for this here corner, turn 12. Then there's turn 13 to navigate. We didn't see where he is, so it's going to be a surprise when he does improve this lap time. Ghost will give it a little bit of a slipstream as he comes down towards the line. But where is this lap going to place Lifeboat in this qualifying session? It's only a 4/10 improvement, a 1 minute 14.8. He needed just a little bit more there, about 2 more tenths of a second to get closer. So my maths was wrong. It was 6 tenths that he needed, not 8 tenths of a second. But it was a good effort from Lifeboat. Has anybody got anything similar? Jordan Lancer gave it a good go. Only a 15.4 for him. There's a Haas peeling into the pit lane now. How about Scorenzi? He's invalidated again. And the driver who's been toward the front of the grid for the last couple races, fighting right up there, is out of this qualifying session, and he's at the bottom as Barry Chuckle goes P3. Not a bad lap there. How about Robert? What's he got in the Williams? P3 for him, a 15.1. Now we go to Speed. What has Speed got underneath him? Only good enough to stay P9. The Ferrari of Giacolacco just moves up to P12. How about MX? The other McLaren, can he get himself alongside his teammate? No, but snatches P4 back. But ETA Chris improves to P3. That is a huge help for the Red Bull outfit there as well. Ghost coming around the final corner. RJ's just ahead of him as well. RJ manages to improve his lap time. Maybe Ghost improves up into P6 there as well. How about Rick in the other Ferrari? Only a 10th of a second improvement. No improvement to his lap time. And that is your qualifying session for this evening. Lifeboat gave it a good go, but nobody could get close to that 1 minute 14.6 of Finley. What a fantastic lap from him. That is a statement of intent if I've ever seen one, and could be a little glimpse into the crystal ball for the race to come. Let me take you through the grid then as they line up for the race this evening. Finley on pole position with a fantastic lap with Lifeboat alongside him on the front row. 88 Chris and Robert share row number 2 with MX and Ghost sharing row number 3. Barry Chuckle and Jordan Lancer in 7 and 8. Then there's Red Flame Joe and Speed rounding off your top 10. Then we have Yaram, Rick, Giacolacco, RJ Blair, MCL, Swee Ross, Lewis AP, Lucasro and Scorenzi rounding off the grid. A disappointing qualifying for the American. He'll be wanting to get himself back into this one. He's going to have a tough job though here at Hungary. Overtaking opportunities are few and far between. An incredibly competitive grid. Yeah, let's try and look over that actually. Let's talk about that. Speed. Let me see. Let's have a look at the times, and you can see just here. If I pause it, there we go. You can't see what I'm seeing, but I'll try and describe it to the best of my ability. But there is a second, less than a second, covering the top 10. So that's Finley all the way down to Speed Alcoholic there. 2 tenths away is Lifebout from Finley. His teammate ETA Chris is 2 tenths away from the Dutchman. Then there's about a 10th between himself, Robert and MX, and then about 2 tenths between Ghost and Barry Chuckle from Chris, and then it's about 4 tenths away from between Jordan Lancer and Red Flame Joe from ETA Chris there, and Speed Alcoholic just a further 5 tenths behind as well. ETA Chris, so all about a 10th or so covering the top 10. It really could have gone either way, and Hungary is a track where a lot of lap time can be found if you are precise and if your setup is just right as well. You've really got to be committed at this circuit, but you've also got to be careful to avoid those danger areas and spins and such. Now, I believe the formation lap is going to be off. I haven't got confirmation. I'll try and sniff around in the paddock just to see if there is indeed a formation lap. There looks like there is, so I didn't need to go far. Formation lap seems to be on, and we're underway, and I've got no sound. This is bad. This is very bad. I've got nothing. I've got no UI. Uh-oh. I've got no UI, I've got no sound. This is not... Oh, there it is! Hello, UI! Nice of you to show up. How strange. How very, very strange. Codemasters. Masters of breaking code, then making it. Anyway, let's see how the drivers line up on the grid then with their strategies and their tyres. It's hard for Finley, Lifeboat Chris, the championship protagonist, of course. Robert on the mediums could throw a spanner in the works for the top three there, going aggressive. Then MX and Ghost on the hard compound as well, looking to go long with the top three. Then Chuckle and Jordan Lancer on the mediums. Then there's Red Flame Joe and Speed on the hard tyres as well. Yaram on the mediums, Rick and Jackalacco on the hards, with RJ on the medium compound, MCO on hards, and then it's mediums for Sweet Ross and Lewis AP, Lucesro on the soft compound tyre, looking to go really aggressive, and Scarenzi on the mediums as well, there for Aston Martin. And it's a roughly even split. Let's see, 3, 5, 10, 3... 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I guess I'll count the soft runner in there. So yeah, roughly an even split of the 19 drivers there. I mean, you can count Lucas as just a singularity, so you've got 8 to 10 with the split there. Is Finley disqualified? Not quite parked up in his grid slot correctly as all the drivers get themselves on. Let's find a lovely camera angle to go for, because the game doesn't know how to give me one. Which is incredibly frustrating. Let's ride on board with ET8 Chris, defending champion. Has he got anything in him to claw it back? I'm not sure. Let's see. 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights for the Hungarian Grand Prix in APPF1 Tier 1, and we're underway and racing, and it looks like a decent start from Finley. He's going to cover off Lifeboat immediately. Robert, however, has got a great start in the Williams on those medium compound tyres. He's going to challenge all the way in towards turn 1 as they all go 2 by 2 in towards the corner. Looks fairly clean from everybody. Robert ahead of Chris, but Lifeboat on the attack already of the McLaren of Finley. All the way wide goes the McLaren to hold it. Side by side they go, and off the track goes Lifeboat, just about keeping it within those white lines, and Robert's now jumped him as well. Robert's got ahead of Lifeboat as they've crested the hill through turn 4, and those medium compound tyres working well for Robert at the moment, and he's going to be looking to chase after Finley there as well. MX and Ghost have really not changed any positions, have they? Let's have a look as they go. They haven't. The biggest gainer on this opening lap so far is Scarenzi, who's just gained up into 3 places there as he gets past Lucesro, who's just got past RJ, who's lost 4 places off the start. What an electric start already from these drivers, and we got 35 laps of this fantastic Grand Prix to go. Do not go anywhere, folks. It's about to get interesting. Let's see Rick having issues. He's just lost 3 places. I think he's gone wide and letting drivers back through. Lewis AP is going to run side by side with him as well, just keeping an eye on the times. Just like Jordan Lance is on the attack of the Alfa Romeo of Ghost. Down the inside he goes, does car number 43, and ahead of Ghost there, and it looks like Barry Chuckle's now going to go take the initiative and go around the outside of Ghost there as well. Side by side they go through turn number 2 and then through 3, and RTG Chuckle gets himself up into P7. Not a bad move from the one half of the Chuckle brothers. His brother not here this evening is Paul Chuckle, and Rick gets a place ahead of the other Haas there as well. One Ferrari power car making progress, the other perhaps losing it. There's a yellow flag, and that's Lewis AP round at turn 5. It's so easy to do. It looks like there might be some debris as well. Maybe he came together with somebody, perhaps Lucesro in this Alpine. Has he got damage? He does. He's missing his front right end plate on that lovely blue car. Why is it not that colour on the 24 car? I do not know. It's mostly black, which sucks. But you'll hear about that on the APPF1 podcast if you haven't been listening along to that. That's over on Spotify. Look us up, APPF1 podcast, folks. Anyway, shameless plug aside, let's see how they're continuing on in the races. Meanwhile, Jordan Lancer looking to get ahead of MX. He's hunting him down there. MX is right where he needs to be. He's chasing after those Red Bulls. We've got quite the train going on already. It's still early doors in this race. But MX is holding on. He can't let Jordan Lancer through. It's imperative to his race that he doesn't let him through. On this occasion, the two Aston Martins are getting very close together toward the back there. P15 and 16. Will RJ let Scarenzi go through, though? Who knows? Let's see. Scarenzi's got past RJ. I think he did let him through there. It didn't look like it was in a quite strange part of the track as well. So, yeah, he must have let him through. Or perhaps RJ just had a little bit of a moment. Let's see. Rick looking racy. He's getting onto the back of MCL here. The Spaniard versus the Dutchman. Mercedes versus Ferrari. Something we'll be seeing plenty of in the real F1 this year, I think. Although if people saw qualifying today, I think I was right in saying that Red Bull aren't as quick as everybody thinks they are. But maybe I'm speaking too soon. Who knows? We've not seen them in race trim yet. What do you guys think? Put your comments in the live chat and I'll answer them if I can. Meanwhile, Roberts staying with Finley. He's that sort of, that, I want to say roadblock, I guess. He's that hurdle or that obstacle that the two Red Bulls have got to get themselves past in this race if they want to go on the attack of Finley. And this gap is opening up. Look, Lifebout not all too pacey. That gap is slowly starting to eke into about a second, which would be outside of the effective range of DRS, the activation point of DRS, which would be a big disadvantage for Lifebout and Chris if they were to lose that, because Finley will just run away with it. But not many overtakes being made. Patience is a virtue here at the Hungary. You've really, really got to be patient here. And look, it's teetering around that second gap now. As Lifebound perhaps losing touch to Robert in the Williams towards the front. As Robert sets the fastest lap of the race. He's closing with a rate of knots, and down the inside he goes for the move on the leader of this race. Finley dethroned from the lead, but he's going to fight it all the way down towards turn 2 in that papaya car all the way around the outside, but no use. Robert's got the speed. He had the DRS as well. It's a double DRS zone, remember. One of Ghost's least favourite things about this track, I think, although you kind of need it at Hungary, in all honesty. The circuits like Mexico where it's awful. But Finley now in danger of being attacked by the two Red Bulls as Robert has got ahead of him. It was a nice clean pass though. Wasn't held up too much, was Finley. But not ideal for him. Meanwhile, Red Flame Joe has just got ahead of Yaram in towards, or just before perhaps, the chicane. Maybe a mistake from the Williams driver. Didn't quite see what happened. I just saw the switch on the timing tower though, and that was what alerted me to it. ET8 Chris is falling outside of a second of his teammate. Will they be down, coming over the radio saying, "Get him back in your DRS, Lifebound. Let's chase after Finley. Let's work together here." Although I must say, right now, Finley looks like the stronger of the trio at this Hungarian circuit. But there's still plenty of race to go. We're only on lap 6 of 35. I'm interested to see how the strategy is going to work out here. I've heard it could be a two-stop could be doable. But a one-stop is probably the favourable option. I think it's going to be medium hard, in all honesty, for all of these drivers, or hard medium, as Lewis AP retires in the pit lane as they go through. But I don't see it really needing to be a two-stopper. Only a two-stop if a safety car is going to come out, I think. It depends how aggressive the tyre wear is around this circuit. What else is happening then? Ghost in a little bit of a tough place as Chuckle just loses the rear of the car and loses a place to Ghost and speed. Well done to hold on to that and keep it out of the wall for Mr. Barry Chuckle there in the Haas. But that was a scary moment. That'll be a change of underwear in the pits when he comes in later. Oh, a scary moment for car number 5. Scary moment indeed. Let's see, Jordan Lancer chasing after MX now. MX is under threat. He's outside now of the DRS range of the 2 Red Bulls ahead of him. Rick and Giacolacco swap places. Team orders perhaps at Ferrari. But Jordan Lancer all over the back of that McLaren. MX won't make it easy for him. He's a sly fox in that McLaren. He knows how to race. Knows how to get his elbows out from time to time as well. Let's see, through turn 5 they go. No real gains. Not really any places to go for moves here unless you're brave and careful. Those are the 2 things you need to make progress around this track. And Ghost is lingering too. They'll be hoping that they start battling a little bit, start fighting and slow each other up so he can close on in. Steadily plodding along though on those hard tyres. In P7, not a bad place to be. Gifted a place by Barry Chuckle's mistake. Meanwhile, Finley is making inroads once again. The medium tyres starting to show a little bit of wear and tear. It seems like it. Finley shoots down the inside with the aid of the DRS. A very easy pass for the championship contender. And there he goes, Yaram up 2 places. What happened here between Red Flame Joe and Chuckle? Were they fighting? Yaram's just got past the both of them. Maybe there was a mistake from the 2 of them. Maybe they came together. Who knows? But Chuckle down another place, Red Flame Joe up a place, and Yaram says, thank you very much, chaps. I'm going to go up to P9 and start chasing after speed. MX has fended off Jordan Lancer and has left him at the mercy of Ghost, who is just behind him now. I think those mediums are starting to show that a little bit of lack of life, a lack of grip, a lack of commitment to holding on to their life as a tyre. And the hards are going to start coming into their own. Look at Jordan Lancer. He's all over the place. He went wide just now. And don't get too much on that curb. He will be railroaded straight into the wall. I've done that many a time on a lap round here. And it's awful. It's genuinely awful. Let's see. Ghost in the Alfa Romeo. Just biding his time. Waiting for his opportunity. It will come in a corner's time. Finley is run off. 9/10 ahead he is of the Williams, and here comes Ghost down the inside. He goes, easy pass, doesn't have to fight it too much, into the braking zone. Round turn number 1 he goes, and that's car 72 up a position, and it looks like his teammates lost out to Barry Chuckle there. Little bit of oversteer from the Haas, but catches onto it, gets a second helping at the DRS, and is up another place. As Lifebout gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. It looks like he picked that up on the exit of turn 4. Easy to do. It's such a corner that requires a lot of commitment and the usage of much of the road as well. And that's not going to help him in his fight for the podium this evening. Finley out there doing the business for McLaren and for his championship hopes as well. Still plenty of race to go though. But Lifebout, first driver to get a time penalty, that's significant. Championship leader, only 9 points ahead of his rival Finley, who currently leads this Grand Prix. and he's struggling to stay within that DRS. He's still teetering. He's still in it for now, but how much longer? And Robert doesn't seem to be struggling too much on those mediums, does he? Let's see. Let's march along with him for a little bit. No, I don't think so. Let's see as he comes through. Does he look... he looks fairly comfortable there, although he's definitely losing time to Finley ahead, so the medium's not doing so well, but not struggling with them. Meanwhile, Ghost has got MX in his sights now, the McLaren. Next car on his list. And then he'll be in a sort of no man's land if he escapes the sights of MX. That's lots of history here between these two, lots of fights on track. Lots of great moments between the two of them. They're both fantastic racing drivers in their own right. MX, 3-time Tier 1 champion. Ghost, 2-time Tier 1 champion. 6-time Sprint champion. 2-time Elite champion. I think. I'm pretty sure. Somebody will correct me on that. Ghost has got many championships. That's all I'll say. He's a very accomplished driver in APPF1, and of course he's the league owner. He's the guy I answer to. I mean, it's not like he's it's not like if I do a bad job he's gonna beat me up or something or kick me out. But we've both been here a long time though. And so Red Flame Joe, while I'm rambling on, gets past Barry, chuckles Scarenzi up another place ahead of MCO and the Aston Martin. Not quick progress for the Aston Martin. Maybe a safety car will come out and see him chase back up toward the front, but not the usual place we've seen Scarenzi over the last few races. He really impressed last week in Brazil and at Miami as well the week before. But down in P14 he finds himself in that Aston Martin, lamenting a little bit perhaps, after being unable to set a qualifying lap, and it just goes to show how important qualifying is as RTG chuckles out of the race. That's his safety car right there. He's crashed. Let's see, I can't quite see it, but he's lost it in the same place he did not too long ago, and it's put it in the barrier. That is it. Game over for RTG Chuckle. I'll have to keep an eye on the paddock for if any information on that. But Finley into the pits, Robert in, Lifebout in, ETO Chris, MX Ghost, Jordan in. And what this does is it really shakes up the strategy for these hard runners. Finley onto the soft tyres. It's definite two-stop around here, it looks like. A two-stop race from this point onwards. For him, Robert might try to go to the end, but the tyre wear is honestly quite rough around this circuit, from what I'm aware of. I'm yet to do my practice sessions. That'll come on Monday for Tier 1. So I'll get a sense of it then. But my teammate Alex, he's done his practice, or at least some practice, and it looks like a two-stop from where he's sitting. If you're watching, Alex, hello. Little shout out to you there. Well done. On a P4 last week. At least I came home with a point in the sprint, eh? Either way. Lifebound and Chris had to double stack. They've not lost much from this though. Everybody's come in. Except for Swee Ross. No, he has come in. Everybody's pitted. I don't blame him. That's both Haas cars out. Let me see if I can spot anything in the chat here. Nope. Doesn't look like it. Oh, here we go. He's typing. Let's see. Let's see what he says. Ghost was praising his lap in qualifying there. He says didn't expect to be fighting even quali. Says Ghost. Oh, there we go. This needs to change. Can't race with that. Oh, he's popped a video in there. Let's see what happened. Let's comment on this live as we go through. Laggy car. Red Flame Joe, very laggy. and then gets a little bit on the grass there and round. I'm gonna be honest, yes, it was distracting, but you did touch the grass and put the power down. I don't think that can be entirely blamed on the lag, but that's just my honest thoughts right now. But anyway, we move on. The cloak of impartiality back on as we go through. But safety car conditions then. This, good news for Scarenzi. Although on the hard tyres, although it seems that the hard tyre look like a much better race tyre around here than those mediums. So we'll see. But it's a good chance for him to get back into this. Good chance for MX, who looks like he's lost out quite a few places actually. Jordan Lancer and Speed both jumping him in the pit lane. Yarum, there's a good chance here too. Rick in P10. Jacko, the big loser, for Forza Ferrari. Down in P13 there. MCL still around P14 at the moment, toward that back end of the grid. But I think the safety car's coming in. There it is. Look at that. Just as I think about saying it, it comes in. And we're going to get underway. Finley is going to lead us off. He's on the softs, which leads me to think he's going to go on to the mediums next. He did start on those hard tyres, remember. Getting this soft stint out of the way first, or maybe he'll go on to another set of softs. Who knows? Did he definitely saved a set of tyres, because he only did 2 laps out in qualifying. But he's leading them round nice and slow. When's he going to drop it? Oh, there he goes. Just at the exit of turn 13. He's gone again. Caught Robert napping quite a bit there. And it looks like Lifebound's going to take full advantage. He's already on the attack of the Williams. Down the inside, Lifebound goes. Wastes no time making this move. And back into P2 goes Lifebound as Bert Mylander parks up that safety car in the background there as well. Any other position changes? Doesn't seem so, as this restart has got back underway. And it looks like, though, Scarenzi is fighting with Jackalaka, who's gone round the outside this time. And he gets the move done. Oh, and I think he might have made contact with Scarenzi. I can't see the car, but he's definitely round. There he is. He's into the wall as well. Oh, dear. Not the restart Scarenzi would have wanted. And I think Jacko and Scarenzi might have had a bit of coming together there. That's the only real explanation for it, unless he gets too much on the curb. Oh dear, that might be in the steward's room a little bit later. Race steward and league manager Jackalacco takes out community member Scarenzi. There's a headline for you. Have to get him on the podcast for that and berate him. Oh dear. Now that's reserved for Lawrence. Anyway. MX makes up a place, clawing back what he lost in the pits. Speed, though, not going to give him it back easy. He's going to make it hard. Down the inside he goes. A very Schumacher-esque defence from MX. Right through the inside goes Speed Alcoholic and gets himself back ahead of MX, who's now going to come under threat from Yaram, who's all over the place trying to find a way through. Down the inside the Williams goes. Side by side, a little bit of wheel banging as they go. They're still making contact with each other through turn 3. They're going to go side by side into turn 4. I can't believe it. They go side by side. They're somehow both still pointing in the right direction, racing very, very hard between the two of them. They still wheel banging with one another, still racing though, and it looks like Yaram's just backed out of that quite sensibly to sit behind MX, but that was very hard racing between the two and very edgy of seat stuff. Lucky to not come together. Bet Rick was watching that thinking, please don't crash in front of me, please, please, please. That would be awful. If you've ever been in a race like this, like Hungary I suppose, or any sort of tight circuit where overtaking's hard, the last thing you want is a driver spinning in front of you. God forbid. But Finley, 2.3 seconds is the gap to Lifebound. Those soft tyres really giving him that track position, really going to help him defend that place. As Ghost is on the attack, he's after Robert, who is on that hard compound tyre. Ghost making use of the mediums right now with their better grip in the early stages of this stint. But it'll come back to Robert if he can hold on, or if Ghost past him as well. That pace advantage and another time penalty. Sweet Ross this time. 3 seconds for a track limits violation. One too many, and the stewards will slap you on the wrist with a penalty. Ghost got Jordan Lancer and Speed and MX all for company as well. The fight for P4 is on, as the fight for the podium has very much died down after this safety car restart. The fight for P9 raging on as well. Yaram lost a lot of time there. Looks like MX has just shot off down the road and left Yaram to his own devices to fight off Rick, who dives down the inside of the final corner, comes together with the Williams. Lucky to not end in tears between them. Could it be free wide though, as Red Flame Joe's lurking in the background? He looks to go down the inside. Does the Alfa Romeo? Can it be two places in one corner? The Ferrari and the Williams both go wide, and Red Flame Joe gets the place, and Yaram and Jackalacco now fighting. Yaram loses 3 places out of that, but Rick tries to go around the outside of Red Flame Joe in the Alfa Romeo. Rick's round! Rick loses the car! He's managed to keep it out of the wall by the look of things, but he's around. Oh dear, Rick. How that exactly came about, I don't know. But the Dutchman has had an awful time of it this season. An awful time of it. Let's see, where is he in the standings right now? Oh, not too bad actually. I'm thinking more of Jacko. But P7, 7, 4, 8, 10, 8. Not his usual self, but fighting in that midfield still. But that is an awful moment for him in the race nonetheless. And a moment he'll have to just put behind him and try and claw back at something if possible. While all that's happened, Ghost has got past Robert. Not sure where it happened. Let's see if I can see it on the stream. Let's look at that timing tower. I think it was while we were watching Rick. Yeah, look, you could see him. Well, I can see him just in the background, making the pass down into turn 1 under DRS. Fairly simple. Not much explanation to that one. It's your obligatory pass. It's your standard, your bog standard pass here at the Hungary, down the inside into turn 1. Spice it up a little bit by going around the outside if you really want to. But down the inside with DRS is the tried and tested method at the Hungary. Sriros after RJ Blair there. Poor Scorenzi 30 seconds down on the nearest car. Not where he wants to be. Lifebout 3.2. His teammate just got a time penalty for track limits infringements as well. This puts Ghost essentially in P2. And Ghost is right with the Red Bulls. Robert there as well is essentially P3 at this moment. And Red Bull could see themselves not on the podium at all if they're not careful, as Jordan Lancer and Speed go side by side just behind. Looks like Speed might not get it, but he's got a second helping of DRS, which is going to propel him down past the Mercedes through turn 2 and into P6 ahead of the Mercedes. He'll be chasing after Robert and Ghost for sure. He'll be sniffing at that opportunity that the penalties ahead will provide him if he is lucky. He'll keep chasing after it though, and it looks like Lifebout's starting to claw something back. Those softs might not be looking so good. Let's try and read the body language of the car as he comes through. Yeah, I think he's struggling with grip there. You can kind of see he wasn't fully committed through that. Normally close to flat corner. It's only really a lift, I suppose. But you can just see he's got a little bit of understeer on the car there perhaps as well. You couldn't quite see it in that corner, but you can definitely tell that car feels a little less planted to the track on it at the moment. And Lifebout, let's see him. Let's ride on board with him. Let's try and pick up the behaviour of this Red Bull car 8 laps into the stint. This seems a little bit more planted, doesn't it? A little bit more rooted into the track and set. Although Chris is actually... is Chris backing him up? Is he pulling a... Is he going to do a Checo? No, it wasn't Checo that did that. I think it was Rosberg or Hamilton. Or well, I mean, that was the keeper championship. But he's... I think he's backing him up here. He's slowing down Ghost and Robert to try and protect Lifebout from losing out P2 on time penalties. I think that's what's going on here. Because he was quite close to Lifebout not too long ago. Let's see. Am I losing it? Am I wrong? No, I'm not. He was within DRS range of him, or close to that, and he's lost. He's lost almost a second, if not a second, or just over. As Finley into the pits, there he goes. Going to get off those soft tyres. I'd imagine a set of mediums all the way to the end now for the McLaren. Pits early, going to get that undercut. Undercut works perfectly around here. If you come out into the right section, let's see. Will he come out in traffic? You can see a Ferrari, a Williams coming past. There's a Mercedes there too. Look at that. That is a perfect little pocket for Finley. Just ahead of RJ, just behind MCL. And Finley will have perfect time, although that is not good, as ETA Chris has binned it at turn 3, and it's a virtual safety car. That seems wrong. But he's binned it. ETA Chris, the defending champion, loses it once again. It's another poor race for ETA Chris. I desperately want to know how that happened. Oh no. What will Lifebout do? WWLBD. Will he put on a new set of mediums to the end? Take advantage. Let's see. VSC's still out. He's going for it. Into the pits he comes. Scorenzi leaves the session. He's retired. I think perhaps in the pit lane. Not the race he planned today. Ghost in too. It's not quite a full safety car yet. Robert stays out. Wants to keep that track position. Let's see. Let's ride with Finley. When is this safety car coming in? And will Finley gain any advantage from this? Lifebout is just leaving the pit lane now. This is huge. We're back under green flag racing. What a perfectly timed safety car for Lifebout. And he's got Yarum in between himself and Finley. He's jumped him. His teammate has crashed and has put him into the effective lead of this race. After his teammate drops it. Is there some Renault Crashgate shenanigans going on? I highly doubt it, but that is perfect for Lifebout in this championship fight. However, he still has that penalty, and Finley has looked the quicker of the pair when it comes to equal terms at this circuit. He's got to navigate Yarum though, but it may not be too long before he gets past him. But more drama here at the Hungaroring. I hope you are all enjoying. This has been a great race to watch from a strategical point of view. Not lots of overtaking, but certainly lots going on if you're looking at the timings. And look, Finley already on the back of Yarum. I'm sure he'll make short work of that Williams, who runs a little bit too wide through the final corner. And here comes Finley. Gets straight past him in that McLaren. Easy peasy. Speed up into P8 as well. RJ elevated into P7 here. A little bit of a oversteer moment on the exit of turn 1. bad innings for now for RJ. Good practice for Tier 2 if he makes it. So we get rid of that menu. We don't need that. That's cluttering up my screen here. You want to see these beautiful cars do their thing, and down the inside goes Speed Alcoholic on RJ Blair. Easy pass for the South African. And up into P7. He may chase after Ghost, who is in turn chasing after Yarum. Your effective P3 finisher here in the Alfa Romeo. Now that Chris is out of the picture, Robert and MX yet to come in for their stops. They've got to make at least one more. Those mediums surely won't do 22 or 23 laps. However many laps they've got to do. It's Ghost. A simple move up into P5. Going to chase after the rest of the podium if he can. Jordan Lancer down the inside on RJ Blair. RJ might have felt he got pushed off the track there. On the exit, loses the place to the Mercedes. Down into P9 he goes. Let's have a look at the penalty situation right now. Everybody with a time penalty has 3 seconds. All for track limits infringements, of course. Probably at turn 4. There you go. That's your penalty situation. Let's see what else is happening. Let me see if 88 Chris has said anything in the chat. Doesn't look like it. No word from 88 Chris. Although if you're watching, Chris, let us know what happened. Did you crash gate for Lifebout to put him into P1? Again, I don't think that's what happened, but it is funny to say. Meanwhile, Lifebout on the back of MX. The other McLaren hasn't pitted yet. How difficult will MX make Lifebout's life here? Let's see. He's going to plant that Mercedes McLaren in the middle of the track, make it difficult for Lifebout, but he's going to have the better grip going through. Let's hope they don't come together here. That would be absolute drama. But Lifebout holds on, gets rid of MX fairly quickly. He put up a good effort to keep Lifebout behind, but just didn't have the tyre life in him. I don't think MX will waste much time once Finley gets onto the back of him. I think he'll let him straight through, more or less. Finley flying out there in the McLaren. Absolutely flying. Only real battle out on the track right now. Everybody's nicely spread out here at this Hungary. So Finley's the driver to watch. Let's see. Will there be team orders at McLaren? Will it be a nice, easy pass? Yeah, look at that. Have my DRS, mate. There you go. I'll peel out the way for you. Keep the race in line. And that is your team orders there. Propelling Finley up into P3. 2.2 seconds behind Lifebout. Closing in quite rapidly, I must say, as well. And effectively the leader of this race, as Lifebout does have that penalty to contend with. Meanwhile, Sweet Ross losing out a place to Jacko Lacko. Still hasn't pitted, has the Alpine. So Jacko, easy pickings for him. And off he goes to chase after RJ. And then to see what he can do against Red Flame Joe. It's quite a gap to close down to Red Flame, who is one half of the second highest placed team. Gosh, excuse me, I had to yawn just there. It's been a long day as Robert has lost the place to Lifebout, who I think just got past him through turn 12 while I wasn't looking. And Robert, who started this race on P2 on the grid, has found himself out of sync with the rest of the drivers now. And perhaps thinking to himself, I should have pitted then, because I've lost out on a podium here. And that would be somewhat correct. He was up there, he was quick, looking quick, but That's how quickly things can change in the world of Formula 1, in the world of motorsport. And strategies don't go the way somebody expects. It's Jackalacco. Simple pass. RJ Blair on that main DRS straight there. Let's see Finley all over the back of the Williams. Looks to the inside. It's going to go for it. I think a little bit too impatient from Finley there. Wants to get the job done quickly. I think he's taking too many risks, honestly, but the room is left between. It's respectful racing as Robert loses the rear end a bit. Was there contact between them? I couldn't quite tell from the camera angle, but Finley through with an impatient yet somewhat important move. He knows how important it is. He stays within that 3 seconds of life bout so he can get that win there and get that extra few points. Every point is going to count in this championship fight between them. There's 9 points between. And in this APPF1 system that we have here, let me remind you of the points system. There's 20 points for a win and 16 points for P2. So effectively, the gap shrinks from 9 points to 5 points. And it becomes even closer as Red Flame Joe makes a move on Yarum in towards P8 and can now focus on chasing down Joe Lancer, as that looks like Sweet Ross retiring in the pit lane. It is, as there's Ghost chasing after Roberts. He wants to close in on Finley and Lifebout too, but I don't think he's quite got the pace. As good as Ghost is, I think Finley and Lifebout are just that little bit faster than him at this Hungary circuit. All he's got to do is focus on not making any mistakes. Remember last week where he spun at Brazil? I certainly remember. I thought he went into the pits, but it turns out he spun instead. But yes, effectively it'd be a 4-point swing in Finley's way if he can win this race, putting him ever closer. And without Chris as well, I mean, MX is in the right place. He's there. He's in the top 5 where I said he needs to be. And ideally he'd want to be ahead of Ghost, but he's got to stop again, remember. So that top 5 might not be it, but I think he's going to try and go long. Which is currently working for him, I suppose. Jordan Lancer retires in the pit lane. I really thought that would have been something else. Ghost is all over the back of Robert though in the meantime as we go along. And now your closest battle on the track is right here. Alfa Romeo versus Williams. Let's see. Jordan Lancer leaves the session. Red Flame Joe, 3-second time penalty. I think that puts him up to 6 seconds of time penalties. We'll take another look. No, only 3. It's 6 for Luke Esro right now and 3 for everybody else. But, it could be a very important swing though with MX's points there. And yeah, I think he's going to go to the end. I think he's very much going to try it. I mean, he's got 6 laps effectively as Ghost. Straight line speed, DRS, job done. Passes Robert onto the podium. And Robert's going to try and go to the end on this tyre here as well, I think. A late safety car would really mix it up if it was to come out. All of these drivers on the hards and MX are going to go all the way to the end here. MCL, I think he might regret trying to go long on those soft compound tyres because they're going to feel awful as Jacko's round and in the barrier. Oh, the Ferrari. Oh, Jackalacco's got wing damage too. He's dropped it. And I think Rick, while having the slightly better season than his teammate, is Jacko, who's just having a torrid time out there in Tier 1 at the moment. And puts it in the wall. Oh, my sprint teammate. I do feel for you. At least you've still got all 4 wheels attached to that car. Something I can't say for my Tier 2 campaign at the moment. Not a great run of form. But that's motor racing. Sometimes it happens. Let's see. MCL trying to keep up with RJ. I reckon, as far as tyre life goes, those tyres are about in a similar place, I think. How many stops has everybody made? Let's see. I mean, there's your gap to leader if you wanted to see that. Doesn't change for Finley and Lifebout's gap. Finley just needs to sit within 3 seconds here. Stops, there you go. 2 stop, Lifebout, Finley, Ghost. MX on the 1 stop. It's going to be a struggle toward the end, I think. Speed, 2 stops. Joe, 2 stops. MCL, Rick, Jacko, Lukesso, 2 stops. Or Jacko's about to make it a 3rd. Stop as MCL trying to find a way past RJ Blair in the meantime. It's Jackalacka in the pits for probably a set of medium softs and a new wing. Yep, softs on that Ferrari. A new wing on that Ferrari. And your fastest lap attempt is born from an unplanned stop, I will say. 32 laps out of 35. We're in the dying stages of this race, and there's honestly not too much going on. Although that being said, speed has caught up to MX, and MX I think is under threat here. He's going to lose out to the South African, I think. Around the outside he goes. MX going to fight it though, sticks that McLaren on the inside. They emerge side by side, but I think speed might just have the better traction. He does on those tyres. They're effectively half as more effective as MX's tyres, who have run 20 laps compared to Speed's 10 lap old tyres, and it is Speed Alcoholic into the top 5, but still it'll be a double points finish for McLaren, where ET8 Chris along with Jordan Lance, Sri Ross, Scorenzi, RTG Chuckle and Lewis AP will not make it to the end of this race. And I think MX, as long as Red Flame doesn't get him, I think with all the penalties that Red Flame has and the gap that is currently 9.1, I think it will be fine between them. So I think 6 is the worst that MX could come away with today. Anything could still happen though. Lifebout might drop it. He does tend to have a bottle every now and again. Does our Lifebout. RJ and MCL meanwhile. MCL just keeping RJ honest. RJ just keeping MCL arm's length. Your closest fight on the track between 2 tier 2 drivers, of course. The Spaniard, who has been in the Haas, is been in Alpine colours. Fighting, RJ just trying to break the toe. Keep MCL at bay, at arm's length, right where he wants him. I think Finley is planning to launch an attack here. He's closing and closing in on Lifebout, and I talk about it often of, you know, getting a racing driver to back off is not an easy feat at all. And if he can get it on track, he will. And he'll want to. Let's try and glean some insights. Lifebout, no ERS left. Barely any ERS left on Finley's car. Ghost is about 60% battery by the looks of things. Can't quite tell on Robert's perspective, not much though. About 30% on speed, about 30% on MX, about 60% for Joe. Barely anything for Yara, not much for RJ as well, who's still keeping MCL behind him, who has got, he's got about 60% ERS. So got the ability to fight. He's got some extra power behind him. If they fight too much though, Rick will get involved, but it's not going to matter. MCL, with the better grip on those soft tyres, gets straight past RJ. Gets him down into P10, and now Rick is going to get involved too. RJ does have all those penalties though. Let's see, only 3 seconds for RJ Blair, the man from Philadelphia. then he's going to come under threat. P11 will be what he comes away with at the end of it. Let's see who has the fastest lap right now. That belongs to Finley, a 17.0. Jacko's attempt wasn't too far off. Neither was Rick's attempt of a 17.3. But is Jacko out there putting in some decent times? Doesn't look like it right now. It doesn't really have a lot of battery to spare either. Maybe he did give it a go and that was his best attempt. But it's not a bad go of it at all. The man who got pole position, of course. Hard to beat, really. And has looked like it all day. Has made very few mistakes. Well, has made no mistakes, practically. Confidently put it onto pole position. And backed out. Didn't make a final lap. Said, there you go, chaps. Off you go. Don't keep me waiting. And nobody managed to topple him in the timings there. Let's see, Rick going down the inside on RJ Blair in the braking zone. Fairly simple move. Can RJ go with the up and under? No, he can't. Can't quite get it. The DRS just helping out Rick. Keep that place. And that's your job done. 3 more corners to navigate for Finley. And Lifebout, he's got the lead of the race on the track. But on paper, Finley is going to be the one to take it. The gap is going to close to 5 points between these two. Lifebout crosses the line in P1, but it is Finley, your winner this evening here at the Hungary, who closes down that gap to his rival Lifebout, making this championship more interesting. Ghost finishes best of the rest. P3 on the podium for him. Robert, after a long stint on those hard tyres, 24 laps, he'll be glad to be off of those. He finishes off in P4. Not a bad result for Williams. Speed, P5. Good result for him. MX, a strong result. Finishes P6 on those 24-lap-old mediums. Those must be awful. Red Flame and Yarum are P7 and 8 as my controller is dying. And MCL comes home P10. RJ there as well holds on to P0 Jan DNFs weirdly. I mean, it's just because he's left the game. But he did definitely finish P9. I'm pretty sure. Wow. Not the most exciting race, but as far as championship implications go, it's game on as that gap comes down, and this could go down to the final race at Qatar. Lancer not winning, interesting. Yeah, Lancer didn't make it all the way to the end, Scott, so couldn't beat Lifebout and Finley. Unfortunately, he was in the middle of the pack most of the race, to be honest, and at the mercy of the likes of Ghost and Speed and MX and Rick and Jacko as well. I'm sure he'll do better without the in the ESRL in a little while. But there he is, your winner today, and I'm going to try and get them into a party for some interviews, perhaps. Let me get on here. Let me see if I can't make one. Where's the group? There it is, tier 1. Gosh, gotta start a party. There we are. Let's run you through the order quickly while I try and wrangle up these drivers. It's Finley, then your winner this evening. Lifebound and Ghost flank him on either side of the podium, with Robert P4 and Speed Alcoholic rounding off the top 5. Then there's MX, Red Flame Joe, Rick, and MCL and RJ, your top 10, which Yaron should definitely be in. Then there's Jackalacco and Lucas Rowe as well. Then there's Yaram, Jordan Lance, Sui Ross, ETA Chris Scorenzi, RTG Chuckle, and Lewis AP. These 6 drivers here not finishing the race, with the others looking like they might have got classified. I don't know. I think there's some weird shenanigans going on with the standings, but let's see if I can get some drivers for some interviews. I've got one. won't have Ghost. Let's see, I've pinged Lifebout. We'll see if I get a response. I'll give it to 53. And then if I don't get anything, we'll go. Right, there we go then. No Lifebout then. So it's just you and I, Finley, then, and
Right.
it looked like a completely dominant evening for you. You smashed it out of the park in qualifying, and I think I mentioned a couple of times during the race that you just the quicker of the two between yourself and Lifebout. The gap's gone down now to 5 points in the championship. Just run us through the race.
Well, Hungary's, I'd say, is one of my best track. So obviously that means race pace just will come to a lot easier to me. And so obviously on the hards, I underfueled quite early, I think. So I let the medium guy pass to lift and coast a lot, and then obviously when he started dropping off, I got past him, and then I had a good 2 second lead. Just sit comfortably and just obviously save a bit more fuel. But then when that safety car came out, I could have sworn I chose mediums, but it put me in the softs. And from previous races around here, which will not be named, softs are not a good race time, as they dropped off after about 6 laps.
Yeah, it didn't. They didn't look like a great race tire. I think I saw a lot of drivers. I think you got about really 8 laps or so into the mediums, and they started to drop off as a race tire around here. It just goes to show how horrible that tire wear is, and that virtual safety car ended up playing quite a pivotal moment. If Lifebout didn't have that penalty, of course, it would have been a much more bigger climb, let's say, to chase after him. But you managed to close it down. But were the tyres just given up by the end of it?
Nah, because I think I knew he wasn't going to get his pen removed, so I was just chilling. Because I had 2 warnings myself, and I didn't want to push it over the limits. Because it's an easy track to get warnings around here.
Yes, especially at that turn 4 and a few other corners there on the track as well. But you've closed down 5 points then, and another bad race for ET8 Chris. It's looking good for UNMX, perhaps in the constructors as well. Is it full steam ahead into this championship fight going into the last 3 rounds?
Yeah, we're P1 in the constructors now, I think. So that's good. And next, well, not Abu Dhabi, but Silverstone and Qatar, they're pretty good tracks for me. So I hope to keep chasing life out down and just not finish P2 most races.
Well, I mean, it's certainly an exciting prospect, Finley, but well done today. It was a fantastic win and a fantastic pole position lap as well. Good luck in the next 3 races. I'm hoping I can be there for them. But if not, I'll be wishing you the best, as I will everybody else.
Appreciate the comms like always.
No problem. And I've noticed MCL you've joined. Do you have any final words of wisdom, MCL, before I close off, just to get you involved a little bit? I can hear you. I mean, it must be great finishing in the top 9. But no, how was it out there? What were your thoughts of this Hungarian circuit as a racing track this season? Yeah, I do remember it being awful on controller back in the times where I was racing it on controller. Glad to be on a wheel now. Um, but good information gathering for tier 2 though. Yeah, well, hopefully I'll be up there fighting and not in the barrier. But we'll wait and see. But thanks for hopping in, MCO. Anyway, nice to have nice to have you in. And Ghost and Lifeboat unfortunately can't make it. Good, thanks. I appreciate it, dude. Right then, well, that's it. That's round number 7 done. And that is the first of 3 Hungary races this week. Tune in on Sunday at, I think it's 7:35, the weird time, or 10 to 7 for the elite race. I can't remember exactly what time it is, as I'm not always there. For the elite round of Hungary, and then of course at the same time as tonight on Tuesday for the tier 2 race at the same circuit as well. And of course on Sunday, on Monday I should say, don't miss the APPF1 podcast where we'll be covering the last few rounds of APPF1 racing. But that is going to be it for me. If you want to see some more racing content and some more commentary from me in about 15 minutes time or so, there'll be some ESRL with full qualifying at Monaco to sink your teeth into, so stay tuned for that in a few minutes time. But I'm going to go grab myself a cup of tea and a little bit of a rest. I'll see those of you joining me for ESRL in a moment, and to everybody else, it's a very warm good night.